812, welcome back. Charles Fazzino is world-renowned for his 3D pop art, and chances are you've seen his vibrant images and sculptures before. Here's why. Mr. Fazzino is the official artist of Super Bowl 59, but he's been the official artist of the Super Bowl for the past 24 years. This is his 25th year, and on this morning, he is in our studio as we do celebrate the 25th big game of yours doing this. Sir, good morning to you. It is an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
So you've got a couple examples right here of what you've done. There's the official poster as well, too.
Yep.
Let's start with, this is your 25th Super Bowl. How'd you get started with the NFL?
Many years ago, I think I started with Super Bowl 2001.
Okay.
They asked me to commemorate Super Bowl because originally I came to the NFL, showed them my artwork. I wanted to license my teams in New York.
Okay.
The Jets and the Giants for my collectors.
Yeah, but which? You can't have just one.
Actually, I like both teams.
Oh, wow.
And work very well with both.
Okay.
So, yes, so I got a license, and then they asked me, how would you like to commemorate Super Bowl with your artwork and do a Super Bowl collection? And I said, I would love to. That would be an honor.
Yeah.
So I started this, and they sent me some blank helmets. They said, what can you do with these helmets? So it took me a few years to figure out how to paint on them, how to make them 3D. As a kid, I loved 3D pop-out books in New York. My parents were both artists in New York. And when I decided I wanted to become an artist, I wanted to do something different. And I tried to make a pop-out book, couldn't get it published in New York. And it sort of stumbled in on this in the early 80s, showed my artwork in New York. And from there, it's taken on a life of its own. You know, I'm showing my work in 35 countries.
Yeah.
I do also the artwork for the Olympics, for Major League Baseball.
Sure.
And and we create like all these cutouts, all done by hand in my studio in New York.
That's a fascinating story in terms of how you were able to ultimately achieve your goal here by way of a different avenue. To be able to do this, though, is to learn the little quirks and idiosyncrasies about these many cities. So talk to me about the research and figuring out what would properly display that city.
Well, every year, you know, some cities are more exciting than others. New Orleans is just like my artwork.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much fun, culture, tradition, food, and I really tried to capture that in my artwork. You know, so it's a fun city. It's colorful like my artwork, so it was easy to do. I've been coming to New Orleans for many years because I have art galleries that have always showed my work here in the French Quarter. I had a show last night at Renard's, so they showed my artwork. We had a great show last night. So it was an easy thing for me to draw when they said it was going to be in New Orleans this year.
You know, you got a lot of local artists here, a lot of artists in general whose products are on display to give people a chance of the city's flavor. Talk to me about the importance of making sure that the art is highlighted, but also art that takes a look at the story of the community.
Well, that's what art does. Art can be that vehicle. So, you know, when you draw, and especially narrative art like that I draw, I really try to capture, you know, how a place looks. I want you, when you look at one of my pieces of art, that you can almost smell the hot dogs at a game, or, you know, or feel the food, the culture.
Yeah.
And, you know, and New Orleans is one of those places that, you know, in past years, I'll give you an example. I painted Jacksonville, Florida, one of the Super Bowls back then. Wasn't as much to draw as New Orleans, you know.
Sure.
So, but it goes through a whole stage. I do a sketch, then I make handmade prints or hand paint on the helmets. I have a whole staff of artists that work with me in New York, 60 artists to complete all of these projects and get them going. So it's a labor of love. They're all done by hand still and made in New York.
And an opportunity folks will get a chance to see you. We do thank you for coming on this morning, good sir. You can get the chance to meet Mr. Charles. He's going to be selling some of his art during the Super Bowl experience. It's over at the Montreal Convention Center. And with that, you can get a signature too, get a chance to meet the man behind the beautiful art. A portion of the proceeds are going to go to a charity related to the Bourbon Street terrorist attack from January 1st, so there is meaning behind the message here too.